small and necessary. The community is important, but also independence and individuality. So I think that's why some of the projects I have issues with, but community, what's the quote? Don't underestimate the power of a small group of people, because the ability for a small group of people to make change, because that's the only people that ever have. And I always like that quote. But also, people doing their own thing and getting weird, and finally creativity and just going out and being doing that. You sit and examine things that you guys value. It's given me a new perspective on things that I will be working on and my priorities in that. I've been focusing a lot on music lately in my personal life, but I am going to be going, I think this winter I'm going to get back into developing it a lot in my free time. And I've been able to prioritize these things in my head and what I want to finish based on what I value, not how cool it is, or maybe I could put this JavaScript library on GitHub and a bunch of people would use it, and then I'll get hired by Spotify and they'll I don't know, it was an idea I had, but I'm gonna focus on these things, and there's gonna be a greater chance of getting it done. So does anybody have any values they'd like to share?
The value of getting paid.
Getting paid? That is a thing. Tried eating money one time. It was that's a huge motivator, and I do touch down on that. Every time something you get in the back of your head and you sit down on your computer and you start looking at it, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna hopefully you do a little bit of research and look at what you're gonna use to build it, unless you have a really good idea. Or you just sit down and fire away and get started. Which, hell, there's no issues with that. But they always start off fun, and then the roadblocks happen. And at those various stages of roadblocks is where things are gonna drop off. So these are the types of unfinished projects that I've kind of figured out, and yours will fall here somewhere. There's probably more, but chances are if it's not somewhere in here, then your project's done and you're awesome, and then you're supporting it, so good for you. All right, so the first project is you don't know where to begin. You don't know where to start. You have this idea of the vague kind of situation. But you're completely lost on how to get going on that. So keep that in the back of your head, and eventually you'll see something. That's why they come to code camps. They usually boost that here. So you have an idea, you've done some research, you kind of know what technologies you're looking at, and you're looking at it a little bit. But the next one is actually sketching or planning out that idea. You know what you're going to use. You have hopefully a drawing or maybe some things tasked out. And then number 4, an unusable proof of concept. You've created something and it works, but in a very specific circumstance and not deployable anywhere or useful. And then the first major roadblock is when things stop becoming fun. Like you're coding and you're going at it, and you're try to create something awesome and it's fun, and then you get stuck on this one thing, and it just crushes your soul, and you're like, I'll pick this up later. I'll pick it up next week when I have some time, and then then you just drop off, and it never happens. So that first major roadblock is the big one for some people, and then there's seemingly unsurmountable problems. Trying to build a teleporter and you don't have any lithium crystals or something. So there's those will happen. Like, not every idea is good, but you're gonna run into some crazy stuff here eventually. Now, me personally, step number 4, that unfinished project. I love to create these things, and for some reason, as soon as I get something and I prove that it works, I'm done with it, and I don't feel like working on it anymore, and I'm trying to train my brain to not. And the projects are still in the back of my mind. Making a guitar pedal with my Xbox controller connected to Chuck programming. The Chuck, it's a procedural programming language, and for music. And I had my guitar going on the computer and then just being output through speakers, and I was using my keyboard to control a delay effect on the guitar. So I used a guitar pedal with the Xbox controller, which was really cool, and I proved that it could work. And I just got that one delay effect, and then I had all these crazy ideas in my mind where I'd be playing like a weird whammy bar, and then I busted this like 8-bit hip-hop music on the thing, and then I just stopped doing it. I made a YouTube video, and I was like, look at this cool thing, that might be awesome when I finish it. And I even got some feedback from a guy, like, that looks really cool. You should finish it. And I was like, you're right, I should. And that project's still in the back burner. I still think about it all the time, and I think one of these days we'll get it. But there's quite a few like that. Do you guys have? Is there any other place where you were working on something and it's a great time to share it? Come across any roadblocks or anything that stopped you?
One that you just keep planning, like keep doing the research on, and never gets out of the research.
Oh yeah, where you get caught in like a loop and you're overthinking.
Overthinking it.
Yeah.
I think the term you use is collecting underpants.
Oh, and then you profit.
Yeah, and then you profit.
Okay.
The problem I run into is other things take precedence. Like, I have this thing that I want to build, that I want to finish. It's half built already. But then I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And this other project has to get finished because other people are depending on me for it. So the things that I want to do tend to take the back burner.
The immediate priorities take precedence.
Yeah, just like you having this big idea in your mind, but as a student, you're having like 3 other classes at the same time, and you have a time limit to end your project. So as you start the project, you have to start scaling down your ideas little by little till you get to like the last one. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, scaling down the ideas, breaking them down, and then, well, the priorities are the big thing. And yeah, well, we'll get into that here. I guess it's coming up, but yeah, there's obviously we have external influences in our life and those really can't be helped. Your work, your family, obligations you've made, those are gonna kind of sneak up and take your time. But eventually, we all get free time every once in a while, and when your priorities stand, when you have a chance to work on something that's gonna be fun and make you feel awesome. You know, what have you prioritized at that point? And hopefully it's still been burning in the back of your mind, and if it's something that you value and that you believe in or just want to work in, then hopefully you'll find your way back to it. And we're going to talk here about getting over those humps when when you're trying to build these. Now, these are the 2 biggest motivators that I've seen in things that I complete. 1, someone's relying on me. 2, someone's paying me. I got a project done at work. I do that every once in a while, and they continue to pay me for it, and that's kind of the exchange we got going on. I don't ever see the money, I just keep using my debit card and it keeps working, so I assume I'm doing what they want me to. and someone's relying me to finish, like, I did this volunteer thing for these kids at a high school that were like trying to do a young entrepreneur, trying to be entrepreneurs. They had this whole business idea, so for a class that the Wausau Chamber of Commerce was co-sponsoring. They actually got funding, like it was like $500 or something, once they finished their business plan at this semester, which I think is a really cool idea to get kids involved in business. I would have loved having something like that. But then again, I was kind of a screw-off kid in high school. I wouldn't have been the kid in the business suit up there. But yeah, they had these ideas. And I built this little e-commerce platform for them, and knowing that they were going to present it, and knowing these kids were relying on me to do it, I learned Magento e-commerce platform and put up a web store for them. I think their business idea failed, but I got to learn Magento, and they got to learn the value of failure very early in life, and I think that's important. Yeah, what's something? Is there a time when you guys find something that drives you to finish besides these two very clear things? I mean, anything? Yeah, it's rough, but I think the values aspect is what comes through. Especially in my friend's case, he persevered. I know this guy put up a website, policeproject.com, and he's big into, there was some mix-up and he was involved in some trashy neighborhood, and there was cops coming over for like a domestic disturbance dispute, and he ended up getting a gun pointed at him, and he was really triggered, I guess, by the police brutality of being in the news more frequently over the past few years. So a couple of years ago, he put up this policeproject.com. It didn't really take off like it would have, but it was it was Yelp for police officers and trying to review and rate them based on the areas. So if they were, so hopefully to provide that kind of Yelp feedback. And that was something that he valued highly, and he spent a lot of time putting this up, and it looks awesome. But yeah, it didn't end up super successful. It's not super used right now, but he finished it, and I still think that's amazing. So we talked about external influences, work, family obligations, internal influence, lack of confidence, imposter syndrome. Maybe we always research the project and then we lose confidence on it. General apathy, I'm not wanting to do something. These are things that we're trying to get over. So some techniques in prioritizing and getting things done that way. One of the best things, this is my idea, or my sketch of this slideshow. So draw. Putting it on paper is incredibly useful. And I don't know, do you guys sketch out your ideas when you have them?
Yes.
I think those are the ones that are most likely to get done, are these ones that you spend time actually playing on, and I don't do this nearly enough with these things. So it's a simple concept. I'm not trying to be super, I'm glad I'm giving this talk in the morning where it's still light, and I'm a morning person. I don't know if you guys know, but you can get into the crazy hardcore coding stuff later. But so yeah, I'm trying to mostly, if I can just inspire someone to look at one of these things and maybe start working on something that they put by the wayside, I think I'd feel good about today. So we can get together and talk about it afterwards if you want. The minimum viable product is extremely important. You saw in the Torvalds quote, especially. You want to break it down to the smallest little piece, that thing that you're really trying to get done, the thing that you really want to get done. Break it down to that tiny one, the last thing, and then break it down even further than that. Make it extremely manageable, extremely reasonable, because it's always going to get unreasonable real quick anyway. And we all know that happens. I'll try to give some different examples here. A book. My dad decided recently he was going to be an author, and he started writing this book, this really long, crazy story and he laid out all these chapters and definitely over-designing. He has 23 chapters that he had, and he started writing. He got through like the first half a chapter, and then he started losing steam and he wasn't writing as much, and I was really encouraging him. I thought it was really cool, but it just wasn't working. And then I was reading some short stories by Kurt Vonnegut. I think it's one of my favorite authors, but and it was just a collection of stuff, and that's how he started writing. He was writing these small stories before he got into novels, and he never wrote any large, crazy novels, but these short novels, and he released a collection of short stories that showed that he was getting published in like magazines and stuff when he was just a budding author. And so I told my dad, and he's like, yeah, that's great. And just yesterday I was talking to my dad about he finished his first short story. So instead of having one thing that he was dreading on doing and started to really lose steam on this big novel, his big vision, we broke it down to something a lot smaller, and it actually got done recently. And I thought that was pretty cool. So definitely break something down into that minimum viable product. You guys familiar with the term? Yeah. All right, so if you don't spread out the work, this is what happens. Every time when I go to work and every day, you figure something out and you feel like a genius, and then 10 minutes later you're running another problem and you're smashing your head against the keyboard for another couple hours until you're a genius again, and then it's a vicious cycle. So to try to mitigate those awful times when you run into those oh no's, spread out the work. Don't over-design by any means, but you're at least going to have a clear idea of what you're going to try to accomplish when you start out to code, or hopefully you do. If you don't start with an idea, with a solid plan, and end up making something awesome, then you're probably pretty cool. But so you have a basic plan. What you want to do is look at some of the unfamiliar technologies, and if you're coding something that doesn't require one, that's amazing too and good for you. But there's going to be some times when, if not an unfamiliar like programming language or framework or library, you're going to be looking at just unfamiliar concepts, functions, or different design paradigms that you're not used to. So you're gonna run into those. If not, you should really question if you should be building this. Definitely if it's something useful. Like, if you're not learning anything while you're building it, there might not be a point there. So definitely look at the unfamiliar technologies that you'll be using in your planning phase, and when you're working on something, keep that in mind and spread those out throughout the things that you're comfortable with, the things you know that are going to be fun. Try and spread it out so it's gradually gratifying. In the case of Small Grubber, we are now on networking, and that is a whole pile of research. And I learned a lot in how to deal with like a game loop, a pretty complicated game loop that creates the players and renders all their properties yeah, but now we're at the networking part. We're trying to make a multiplayer online game, and it's possible. You gotta where you sneak the code and it's all JavaScript, but it's not easy at this point, and we should have been working on that probably from the get-go and had a good idea on how to do that. So the project is still very capable of going online, but that networking aspect is really hard. We should have looked at that well before we finished everything else, because now it's reached a point where we haven't worked on it. We picked it up like once a year. We pick up this game and we work on it for like 3-4 weeks. We'll work on it every day, and then we'll drop it again. So it's at a weird playable state, but that's it. So you will get stuck. Are there examples of times when you guys got stuck, and do you know specifically what stopped you from finishing or doing this?
Knowing if it could be done, I guess. Like you want it to do something and you just don't know how to get it to do it. And you don't even know if it can be done.
All right, yeah, fair enough. Just completely lost.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, if you just get completely lost, well, at that point, just try to reach out to like IRC or somebody. Somebody's gonna know if it can be done, because at least you'll have the confidence to try and figure out how, or maybe they'll help you, but, or a Stack Overflow post or something crazy on that. I don't post on there as much as I should. I got stuck on my project, it was a music visualizer. It was like, I was using a P5.js JavaScript library in the browser to, I really wanted to take like the old school Windows Media Player music visualization, kind of, it was always fun to look at as a kid, but I want to take that and bring it in the browser, but take Reactive Elements, like any page, take a browser plugin that takes div elements, and I was going to add a shadow to the background of all these div elements, and if there's music playing on the web page itself, so it would grab the music from the web page and it would make everything pulse. And it had this really cool shadow effect of just adding the box shadow of the div element, and I was using the HTML5 audio tag and grabbing that and displaying it. And it was kind of cool because it was playing just a song, an MP3 on there, and the div was responding in kind, and I had this whole idea, whoa, now I can put this on a website, and the pages will look like will be reacting and live to music, and I don't know, I still want to see it happen, but I got stuck real quick, right away. It was terribly optimized. The library I was using was pretty heavy duty, and as far as low-level code goes, I'm not a low-level guy, so I'm terrible with optimization. Just buy faster computers, why don't you? Because they're cheap these days. So, like that's, and I knew it would just chug on anything other than the MacBook, so I kind of gave up real quick on that one. But so I think that was my story of getting stuck. Anybody else?
I'm sort of stuck right at the moment in that piece of trying to engage a community. And so, I can build this thing, but will anybody actually use it? And how do I answer them when they ask? But I've got Facebook, what else do I do? And that's in some ways a subtle question, but and hard to answer.
Yeah.
So I'm in that period right now of, well, do I continue with this, or do I say, yeah, okay, nobody wants it?
Yeah, well, if it's something you want to build, I mean, I firmly believe that, having users is great, but hopefully your vision, what you really want to build and what you're emotionally attached to is going to coincide with what other people want to use. In the case of that, I've been looking at building a Facebook plugin or a Facebook add-on. I think back in the day, earlier days of Facebook, it was kind of easier to do that, especially they had all those weird game requests and stuff. It was easier to build on. I don't see a lot of that anymore. I had an idea to bust into the Facebook API as well, but it got real rough real quick. But have you looked into like working with the social network on that?
There are some Facebook connection features in there. One of them is stealing all the local events out of Facebook and plugging them in.
That's actually cool. I've been wanting to do that. All right, I want to talk to you about that. I have some ideas too.
It's easy to do bad, but it's hard to do well.
Great. I don't like to do things well. That's where I was. All right. Yeah. Anybody else on where they've gotten stuck, or if you know why?
I think part of it has to do is just losing your focus. So you can just reminding yourself why you started to do the thing in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
I think just losing that want to do it, and maybe just writing down why it is that you initially started to do it in the first place. Was it to learn a new thing? Was it to help other people? Was it to help yourself? And sometimes those things can be the motivation to push yourself past that hump and continue what you were doing.
Yeah, definitely. Drawing. I think that's solid. And coming back to that original idea, if you have this written down and it's physical somewhere. And, we love computers, but for some reason, digital, when it's written down digitally or documented digitally, it doesn't have the same pull as something that I actually had sketched out. yeah, those are the things we get done. So look at your original concept. You'll be able to know your original thoughts and ideas for it. That's, yeah. So I don't think it should be done right the first time. From everybody I've talked to and then all the research I was looking at, you want to get that little idea, that tiny piece of the big project that you shouldn't be thinking about, just this tiny piece of it, and get that done. You can always refactor it, which happened with my buddy in the project that he's done. He always writes and gets something working, and he's so happy with it, and it's it's important to him that he fixes it later, and then they end up being actually decent software products. Don't obsess over design, like Torvalds was saying. You're gonna overthink it, and you're gonna overshoot your abilities, and it's just not gonna work. Now, testing you might not want to ignore. So probably most positive practices. The testing, when we were doing Smug Rubber, I must have spent like 10 hours out of this last 4-week sprint or whatever we did. I must have spent like 10 hours just tweaking the weapons of the characters when they shoot at each other, because it was just fun. And I was trying to get a good game balance going on, but if I had written a test that tested, because we had a bunch of little AI bots with pretty basic, but we could have easily wrote something that ran a bunch of scenarios and monitored their health and what kind of weapons they had to see what kind of damage they were doing instead of doing it manually. It was super fun, but super time consuming. And so that's that. So yeah, use your friends as resources, or find friends. Online friends are real friends too. So preferably someone knowledgeable, positive, honest. Look at them for that inspiration. If it's something worth finishing, they'll be able to. They should be able to assist you, but don't rely on them ever to get a project done for you. Really good example here of, we're not even friends, these are my brothers. My band's playing tonight at the Stone's Throw. It's gonna be fun if you guys wanna come down. 10 p.m., dressed like a zombie. I had this really great idea for a music video, and I was like, man, people are gonna love it. We have this song that's kind of emotionally touching. So I wrote out this huge, not a huge script, well, just a script that had about half of the song in it, and I'd never written a script before, so I just started going by the time signatures in the song, not the time signature, but the actual time of the song, and I had these scenes written out and described so that I could imagine a cameraman looking at it and knowing what he was doing, and try to describe what's going on emotionally in the song, and then getting a good descriptive feel for what the video would be. And then I talked to a studio, and I set up a meeting. We go there with a couple guys from the band. They're like, yeah, this is great. We set up a date to start filming. They're like, okay, we'll give you guys a deal on the video. We'll shoot it and produce it for you. What you got to do is make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Basically just finish this script and tell us where we're going to film. And they were going to do it for us. And I was like, great. Let's get it done. And then I met with all my band. I was like, okay, you guys, we got to finish this script. It's halfway done. We're just about there. All we got to do, you guys can give me some feedback and ideas on just what we should do for just this next little part here. And then they ended up inviting some their friends over, oh, well, these guys could do it for cheap. These are friends of ours, and they'll probably do a music video for free. It'll look just as good. We should talk to them. And then we ended up having just a brainstorming session, and the ideas went 10 different ways, and nothing ever got done. The same thing that happened when I tried to start a little business with some friends for doing contract consulting jobs for local businesses, mostly open source software, and implementing it and customizing it for local businesses. That was a riot right from the beginning. And so bringing these other people in, if you have a vision for something, do it. Don't rely on anybody else, because it'll end up getting derailed, and you're not gonna. It's probably gonna end up the way that my projects have. So I can tell you a lot on what not to do. So resources that an ideal friend will provide. So don't rely on them to finish your project, but use a little bit of research. Get their feedback on that, on what particular segment you're in. If you need a straight white guy to look at your project, I would provide market research for any one of your projects. But light testing, so have a look at it, test a little bit, but don't give them a whole test suite of a whole list of things to go over. So hopefully they'll provide you insightful feedback. They'll look at it and really tell you what they feel and where it could go, and encouraging words. But I feel like that's the most. If I would have just looked at that when I talked to the guys in my band, I'm pretty sure we would have got the music video done. But instead, I opened it up, and even though they were stakeholders in the project being completed, it still just went disastrously awry. Now, tools I really would sincerely like a little bit more feedback on. I started thinking of what's the best way to plan. So I really like Kanban boards. I've been using this one for, I'm in Sandstorm right now, which is a really cool thing. I've given a talk on it at the CV Dev group before. It's a really cool piece of software, but it comes with a bunch of different applications, and there's the Kanban board, like Trello or Jira has a Kanban, but yeah, these are projects that never quite get off the ground. But it's still a great way. At least I have everything set up for me when I get back to it. So that's a good tool, just general project organization. I was coming across this. I was actually looking for something else, but I was on Brian Hogan's website. He's one of the guys that runs this. And you should wish him a happy birthday, because it was like last week, and remind me to wish him a happy birthday. Yeah, the Hogan formula, just a time estimation. It's a pretty fun tool for time estimation, and I thought that was interesting. And then the Pomodoro timer. I don't use it nearly enough, but if you're just trying to get something done just straight, if you've got everything planned out, and using Pomodoro is it's Spanish for Italian for tomato, one of the two. Probably both, they're very similar. And there's just a 20-minute timer that you set, and then you take 5-minute breaks. But the timer just ticks, and it does something psychologically, like hearing a ticking timer. I have a digital one, or you can set up like a 20-minute music playlist. So 20 minutes of work, 5, 10 minutes of a break, 20 minutes of work, and you can, it works really well for some people's brains to do that. I've heard a lot of positive things about it. And every time I get myself to use it, you got to work yourself up for it. It's like, okay, I'm going to work for the next 20 minutes without any distractions. Like, turn off your messengers, close all those superfluous browser tabs that we know you have open. Get off of Facebook, guys. Yeah, the Pomodoro works. But so what? Anybody else have any good tools? Because I was really trying to brainstorm things that would be necessary here. Yeah, project management often can be pretty diverse for any type of project. So yeah, you guys have cool ideas. I know you do. The ones you shared are sweet, but keep doing them and get them done. Prioritize, minimalize. Hopefully you'll be able to make it happen. So thank you so much. My name is Daniel Pratt.